Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is ArrowFyre, and welcome to Let's Talk Transformers number 5. I am joined this evening by some lovely co-hosts. I have C4 Darkmane, I have Samsformers, I also have Rohan's Corner, but I have an extra special guest that these gentlemen do not know. Say hello to the Bisto.
Hey.
Hello,
Bisto.
number 5
Bisto.
for number 5. There you go.
Thank you very much for joining us this evening, sir. So, without further ado, let's get on with the intro.
Let's talk Transformers.
Can you hear me all right?
My ears are still ringing now. I'm joking.
I know that.
All good.
That's by the by. After a clip plays, I think my mic plays up afterwards, so that's why I tend to let it kind of drift after a video. Just something I've noticed.
All good.
As Bisto is deciding to tap on our faces.
How much am I worth today, Bisto?
BistoYeti. Oh, I see. He's being hipster. Like, oh, okay.
I'm just using my phone screen, because I'm,
He's gangster.
He's mobile.
it works.
Yeah.
And I had to adjust my audio settings then.
I can't keep apologising for it being loud. Okay, let's get on with. Well, actually, I was going to go on to the news, but I'm actually going to start with today's quiz. Now, it's not going to be a quiz, but the gentlemen here this evening have been told to bring a pen and a paper. So, my task for you all this evening, you may be familiar with QI, is actually a little drawing contest.
Oh, God.
Because for over the course of this show, you will draw for me a Transformer meeting the following criteria. It's not much, but it is going to be firstly in robot form, but it will be turning into a jet.
What?
Some kind. So it will have a jet alt mode. So trying to think Seeker design. It will have an arm cannon of some description. You have then got to come up with its name, and you've got to come up with a very short biopic of it as to what it is, what it's doing, what its traits are.
Jesus Christ.
And at the end of the show, roughly 2 hours or so, you will present your workings, and I will pick a winner.
Let me get my coat right now. And
Yeah,
I cannot draw to save my life.
You've got plenty of time to put as much or as little effort in as you want.
Oh, there will be little effort. I can guarantee you that much.
Well, thanks for turning up, Rohan. But anyway, that is the task for this month. It's not going to be a quiz. It's not going to be general knowledge. It's going to be, let's see how deep your imagination runs. But you've got over the course of the show. Don't feel you need to jump on it right away. Without further ado, let's get on with some news. Now, I've picked a couple of news items, and hopefully I'll be able to. Here we go. Yeah, okay. So yeah, I picked a few news items that we've seen a lot from releases, namely of the Studio Series 86 Prime, but also TFCon with the third-party panels. I've done a video on it. It's been covered on Transformers the Show. I'm not going to labour at it too much, but I want to get your points. First off there, big news that most people are excited about. Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. What is all of your views on this? Someone
jump in at once.
Anyone?
Well, I'm happy to go first. I love it. I think it looks absolutely fabulous. It's hard to get really good, accurate alt modes these days because there's so much heavy focus on the bot modes for Hasbro figures that, this absolutely knocks it out of the park for me in both modes. I know there's a little bit of back kibble, sorry, Alexis, but, overall, the aesthetics are just absolutely spot on for me. So while I'm one of those people who usually waits to see if the price goes down, I had to pull the trigger and pre-order it, especially since they were disappearing like hotcakes.
So you didn't wait for a reasonable price?
I did not. I'm afraid. No, I have gone counter to my name.
Wow. Pay anything, Rohan. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, does it?
No.
Well, I mean, look, I still went for the cheapest price on the market because that's me.
I bet you did. I
From
mean,
my
my
favorite
view on
independent
it,
retailer.
my view on it is, particularly when you look at the box art, if I saw that on a shelf, that's hard to say no to. I think that does look a bit lovely, and I think they've done a very good job with it for when the Earthrise mold preceded it and did did pretty good job.
Yeah.
They've decided to ramp it up. It's got everything you would want, and it is a mini masterpiece, as the phrase has been coined. But so is the price.
Yeah.
Would you argue between you can find it for, you can find it for 90 quid. Rohan, you might be able to correct me. You can find it for 90 quid, but I've also seen 104.
Yes, 104 is out there, Omega Lock for the Asian imports. I did manage to snag it for 85 from Comics and Collectibles. No, sorry, Comics and whatever they're called. Yeah, but it's very, very difficult to get your hold of now. I think if anybody hasn't pre-ordered this already, the best bet is to wait for Amazon and for Smiths to get their stock up on their website / in store, because they will probably have it close to 87, 88, that sort of price range, with Hasbro Pulse marketing it at 91.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've kind of said, like, if this gets towards the typical Commander class prices, which is around 70 is what I paid for Jetfire and Skylynx, 70, 75.
Yep.
That's fair. I think you're getting enough bot here, enough accessories, enough plastic to justify that. But going into 104, as I said at the time, you're getting into KO masterpiece territory, or even just general masterpiece, depending what you're doing. So, Bisto, what do you reckon, lad?
Well, I think in many ways it looks brilliant. It looks absolutely perfect. But comparatively, so did the Earthrise one, released a couple of years ago. So did the Prime that was before that. It's kind of, Prime is like your Spider-Man or your Batman or your Iron Man. Every couple of years, they're just going to get released in a line, and it's going to be a little bit better than the last one. So it's kind of hard to get excited about another Optimus Prime, because I know this one looks fucking cool, but in 2 years' time, the one they released then is probably going to look better.
Yeah.
He is the quintessential figure, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a figure that they can and will release it over and over again. They're doing the tagline of 86 is a big market for it, but there'll be another marketing push, and they'll make it, excelling in other areas as well. Sam, I know you're not the biggest mainline fan, but any views on this?
I mean, I think it looks good. The bit I don't like, and it makes it look cheap, is the windows. I think that ruins it. I think everything else is
the misted plane covered up.
Yeah, I just think there's another one of it it's just when it's standing in it pose or whatever it is. I just think it just ruins it. It takes it out. It doesn't look real. That sounds so silly to say, but I think they missed it with that. I think it looks good. I think it's a lot of money for what it is, but you do get the other bits with it. I understand that. Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. It just, the windows take it out for me. It's too big of a prominent part to get wrong in my eyes.
Yeah, fair.
But I think the rest of it, you can't sit here and say doesn't look good. Objectively it does. It's a bit chunky on the back, but you don't. That doesn't.
But so it's a masterpiece. So
exactly, it is. You can't own it for that. Yeah, I think it's good. It's just that front bit to me just takes it out.
Fair point. Drew, anything from you? Are you going to purchase?
Yeah. What I was going to ask would be, if the windows were painted more in a sort of cell-shaded manner, would that change anything for you?
So,
not to buy it, because I wouldn't buy it anyway.
But would that be better or worse?
I don't know what it needs to be. just windows, just some sort of clear windows, really, like most other ones are. I think that would put it from a, I don't know what, 7 to a 9, maybe. I don't know. I think it's just so off-putting when I look at it.
That's fair. It's not going to be for everyone. I mean, I wouldn't say they're my most favorite windows front looking at the cab, but I think when you see it in bot mode, particularly doing that kind of pose, I do see the attraction. And if it comes down to a typical commander class price, I'd be hard to say no, particularly with that bloody box. That gets my attention.
Mm-hmm.
Just on that box, and I'm saying this can completely contradict myself. I think if I saw that in a shop like that, it would be hard to walk past it.
Yeah,
I think it would.
It's yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Break it out there and then stop playing with it.
Yeah.
Sit on the floor, have it going around.
Yeah.
There's the title
Okay,
of Drew's film.
that's quite moving away from mainline. Let's go on to reveal at TF Con. We had MMC with their previously crowdfunded but didn't take off Supermax, their Fortress Maximus, IDW Fortress Maximus. So was going to be crowdfunded, didn't happen. MMC have decided, sod it, we're going to do it ourselves. I think this looks brilliant. There's only one other offering of this on the market with Planet X, if I'm right. And MMC do brilliant figures. Any of you taken or interested with this?
Not for me. Looks good, but not for me.
You don't go for the. You don't go. You've got MMC bots, haven't you?
I did have. Yeah, I might have one or two. I did have one. I can't remember what I've got now.
If you clear all the fan toys out of the way, you might
get rid of them. Yeah.
Hiding in the back.
What sort of comparative size is he?
If you, it's hard to say.
It says there 11.5 inches head to toe.
I can see that, but does that mean that he's supposed to be
He's
in the
as tall,
Legends category?
he's as tall as a cat, but not as long as one.
Yeah, but
Not for scale.
what size is he
What does he
supposed to
stand
be
next to? Yeah.
in the comics?
I get what you're
like, how tall is he supposed to be against Prime?
So he's supposed to kind of. My headcanon with the comics, and it's not always a clear science from panel to panel. He's Overlord size, maybe Magnus size. It's up for debate, but he's definitely bigger than your average bot, and sort of bordering on 12 inches. Considering MMC don't go for the real big masterpiece size anyway.
Yeah,
he's going to stand quite tall. He's going to stand pretty high.
So,
but
sort of chuggish then.
Yeah, MMC do fall in an awkward state between chug and masterpiece. So yeah, but I think it looks really cool. Perfect articulation to it. It's going to have Optus Pexis level of articulation. All right then, Sam, go on then. Have your go on this one. Have your go.
How long you got? No.
Marauder. We finally get the last figure out, and we are going to have a complete Fans Toys Menasor. But it comes at the cost of 2 trailers, which is going to be released with Bandit, isn't it? The last figure.
Double trailer.
Double trailer madness.
Yeah,
as I said, I said at the time it was the only way they were going to do it. But go on, Sam. What's your view with the combined image? What we see?
I mean, it looks great. I read or someone told me that it's not going to be out till next year, which is just even more of an insult. The fact this has taken 5 years is just ridiculous. And anyone that says otherwise is, I don't know, odd. It's just ridiculous.
Fans boy.
Yeah. I love them. And, in my opinion, they make the best figure, hands down. I've got no qualms with that. But they can't take this long to do it.
Is that going to go into, is that 5 years for the Stunticons, or are we going to go into a 6th year?
Well, from what I understand, it was someone said pre-orders were going up soon. And I'm like, hang on, I've had a pre-order on this for donkey's years, so I'm not sure how that works. And it was going to be out next year. But that to me would be 6 years, and that just seems. I don't get. I get on my high horse now. I don't understand how they can have the nerve to release another combiner figure without finishing these 2 first.
Agreed.
It just is a joke.
And that's why I'm not jumped in on their scrapper for Devastator. I'm just like, I'm let me finish Superion and let's see what we're dealing with here, because I love how look at the articulation we're going to get for very heavy diecast figures. I think there's a lot to do here. I can hear you guys furiously scribbling your pens and pencils, which is great to hear. Please continue. But I'm glad to hear the homework being done in earnest. And so I'll let you off, Sam, because this is effectively your corner of the show, isn't it? So I've got to let you have this. No, I think the articulation here is good.
I think they've nailed it. I think they've got it right. And I moan, but I will be the first one to pay for them and get them.
Oh god, yeah. You would fly to China and go and get it yourself, wouldn't you? If you could.
Yeah. I mean, they're not going to be in combined mode. That's the odd thing about it for me. They're going to be in bot mode.
You're going to keep them separate.
Well, I've got Zeta, Superion, and DX9 Menasor, which I really like. And their bot modes aren't very good, whereas Fans Toys are. So, they look.
To be honest, I'll do the same with Superion. I've got Zeta Superion, and whilst I like it, and I will put it in combined mode to see what the crack is. I'm not ashamed to keep them separate because I think they look great as individual bots. But yeah, the trader, as I said at the time, they backed themselves into a corner. What else could you do? It had to be a second trader, but no one's going to keep it in two trader mode. I don't think.
No,
not realistically. Actually, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with a second trader? Oh, it does go into a base mode, doesn't it?
It'll be in a box under the bed.
It could be a good stand. You could stand some of the bots up on top of it.
Yeah. That two-tier effect.
Yeah. I will do the same as you. I will combine it because I'm saying this hopeful, but I think they've nailed it. If they haven't, then they've taken all this time to not get it right. I can't believe that. So I think this is going to be one of those moments where it's put together and it's, oh shit, that's good. But I don't know. I can't have two combined modes. I don't.
No, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I couldn't have two Superion standing side by side. I'd end up getting bored of one and selling one. There wouldn't be any point. But there you go. And so I like the toy deco. I like it comes with blackjack and it kind of pads out to make. There you go. And you can. It's actually Pete said this on the show on Friday. Imagine for having it tune accurate with the cards on the back of the legs facing back. That's 200 plus quid's worth of toys that you just don't see.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's a very good point, isn't it? At least, and this is why I prefer this design. At least like this, you can see what you've been collecting and where it all goes.
It's the options, isn't it? I prefer the other one, to be honest. I think it looks better with them on the back. But either way, it's great. And if they have nailed it, then I'll buy the other one. Then I'll get the Constructicons.
Yeah, but one step at a time.
But yeah, I think it's a bit of an insult.
Might need to recover your wallet for a few years, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We are on to another thing that's taken them many years to get out, Berserk, their Blitzwing. Anyone interested? Anyone interested in a very pink Blitzwing?
Maybe. I looked when this was released originally, and it was June 2016. Was their first teaser of that. I think I think I messaged you when I saw a post about someone emailing them about the color, which to me is just bonkers. That someone does. Is this the real color? But it looks good. I've got Star Toys. I don't know if I would replace it.
Yeah, same.
That's going to be the big thing. Is it enough to replace Star Toys? Because Star Toys gets a. Bisto, have you got Star Toys?
No.
Oh, I had it in my head. You did.
Really good.
I've heard it is good.
Yeah, Star Toys is good.
Yeah.
I've seen some comments out there from people saying, well, for the price of Star Toys, I'll get 2 Star Toys, put it in the 2 alt modes, and I'll get one of these for the robot mode, and that's it, I'm done. Like, well, if you got that much money, that's fair enough.
This would be 200 quid, at least.
Yeah.
At least.
Well, most fan toys isn't it? They tend to slap 200 quid on it and say, there you go. But I mean, Triple Changer, I mean, there it is alongside Astro Train. Was that 170?
Yeah, I think-
Brand new.
Yeah, it won't be 2016 prices anyway, will it?
No.
God no. I mean, I said when I think the turret looks very squashed, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes.
These kind of patches appearing through the beige with the purple break, that annoys me a little bit.
Yeah.
And the same here, like just it just kind of breaks up an otherwise very clean image.
The
Yeah.
wheels on the tank treads just look really poor to me. They just look really tacky. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like you said, the turret looks squashed.
Better
In
than
the
Coke one.
well, yeah, I mean, anything's better than that
Hasn't got
break,
two
right?
massive. It's got two massive fists missing.
Yes.
It comes with his detachable penis, of course.
Of course, yeah. Needs to
We
be
need
done.
that. I like that.
Oh, we got Deluxe joining the chat. Evening, Deluxe. Evening to everyone else as well. But I mean, I will consider getting this just because I do. I know, Sam, you and I have shared the messages on it. I actually really like that pinky purple.
Yeah,
I think it's a
cool.
I think it's a little bit attractive. I think it's got a bit of sparkle to it, and particularly alongside Astrotrain, who's otherwise very dead colours. It's just got a little bit of life, and I thought, okay, but we know fan stories have said that this won't be the final colour. And, oh, well, never mind.
Oh, that's not nice.
I know. Well, people
Will it be
moan so
more-
much, they get what they want.
Would it be more like the Galvatron color? Do you think that purple?
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah, it would be that kind of heavily saturated colour or much deep purple. But yeah,
Good band.
good. Right. Fans hobby. Tidal waves. Let's see if we get any tidal wave fans out here. A very, very large. Well, I say very large. Not quite Masterpiece Combiner height, but it's going to be a very big tidal wave that will combine with Fans Hobby Meg Tyranno to make Super Megatron, which I'm actually quite intrigued to do that. I do wonder if he's going to stand up with all that much hanging off him. But I do still want a legacy version when that gets down to a sensible price, because I ain't paying that. But I think that looks really good. And obviously this is still in production, but I think Legacy's done a really good job of it. But the thought of getting Fans Hobby, Tidal Wave, Big Bot, all of the gubbins, and I think there's rotating turrets and all these gimmicks it can do, I think that really interests me. But anyone here interested in this at all?
I want a massive tidal wave.
Yep.
But I specifically want it in the PlayStation game colors. So whichever company offers me that first, I will buy it from them. I don't really mind if it's Hasbro or if it's Fans Hobby or if it's someone else. But I want because rather than the purple pods on it is the green on that was the Western Toy colors. I want that tidal wave, and because I prefer the color breakup, and if I'm paying that price for something, I want it to be perfect to my needs. So until someone gets that,
I'm sure you'll get a repaint. It's a matter of time, isn't it? Because it's free money. I do think when I said at the time, he is about 60% leg though. Yeah, I'm trying to think if that's his hip starts past Megatron's shoulders, and it just catches my eye a little bit. But it comes with little micro jets, which is cool. I like that.
They're nice, yeah. 2 ramjets.
I mean, yeah, you're paying the price. I don't know how much this is going to be, but considering Hasbro want £200 for the legacy version, I wonder if this will come in a bit cheaper. And it's considerably bigger, and it's not often you can say third party is cheaper than mainline. But yeah, I am quite interested in that.
Is it bigger?
Well, this is standing at 405 millimeters, 45 centimeters, roughly 17 inches. So I'm working that as Power of the Prime's Predaking, something like that. Not quite Masterpiece Combiner, but certainly bigger than Combiner was. Combiner, I don't.
Well, yeah, Hasbro's is a Titan class.
It is, but it's smaller than, say, Fort Max and Scorponok.
Was it tall? About this, so they're probably the same size.
Could be. Actually, yeah, I'm trying to think. Could that? It could be, couldn't it? I'd love to see a side by side. I would like to get both of them though. I would just keep one in ship mode and one in bot mode, or flip them between. But I'm a big fan of it, and like you, Bisto, that image of it in PlayStation, that boss battle coming out of the water for the first time.
Yeah.
Iconic. Quite iconic.
Quite indeed. That's it. That's all we got for the news. So let us go on to just a little bit of discussion, shall we? Things we want to talk about. Let's have a quick talk around Transformers 1, shall we? Because there's a couple of competitions on the go. Where I believe Triple Takeover are doing a competition for 9 tickets that are available for a premiere up in London's Leicester Square, good old London town, as early as next week, which is quite quick.
Yeah.
And TF Nation themselves are also doing early premiere tickets a competition as well. There will be links to this. I'll put it all up once the stream has ended, that you can go to and check out Triple Takeover and how you can enter. The same with TF Nation. Given that might have drummed up a little bit of hype, are any of you any more or less interested in it as you were, given that we haven't really seen anything more to the first trailer?
For me, no, it doesn't make much difference. I did go and see the premiere of the original Transformers movie with Hasbro back in 2007, and that is a special thing to do. You know, I would say it gives you a lot of hype when you're there, and the roller coaster feeling, the experience of it was excellent. So if anybody is really expecting to like this, then I would definitely recommend into those competitions everywhere you can. But am I more or less excited than I was before? It's the same for me. I am excited. I would like to see this movie. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for us, but I will reserve judgment until, you know, the outcome, just like with all the previous movies, shall we say.
Even if I wouldn't go, because I'm going to watch Wolverine.
Nice.
And Deadpool.
You can go and see multiple films.
No, but
it's not illegal.
Permitted.
The competition comes out around the same time, so I'm going to the first showing of Wolverine or Deadpool Wolverine, whichever way around it goes.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. But I'll have to catch it a week or so later. But to the question that I've just said around TF1, we got a question in the chat from Lally's Formers. What do you think of the future of live action movies? I suppose live action movies, but I don't know what you would say Transformers 1 is, if that is live action, or that's just full CGI. No. But where do we see the future of cinema Transformers going?
Well, I hope Transformers 1 is a success and leads on to further episodes of the franchise in animation.
Yes.
I think animation is my preferred method of how I want to engage in Transformers visually. Well, apart from comic books, but that was a weird sentence.
First of many.
Yeah. So yeah, I want more animation. I want more Transformers animation. I think when I think about trilogies, like for me, like How You Trick and Train Your Dragon trilogy, how it matured through every step of the franchise. I want to see something like that with Transformers 1, where we start off with this like bright-eyed, hopeful kind of thing, and then it'll just get darker as they move on. That's for me, and lead up to them ending up on Earth or whatever. That's how I'd like to see kind of a thing. Live action, they're talking about the G.I. Joe crossover, which it should have been in the first place. I think a lot of problems in the Transformers movie universe would have been solved if they just would have made Lennox's team Duke and so on from G.I. Joe, rather than just have them as being random spots. And I think that would just be made perfect sense from the get-go, because we know Michael Bay has such a boner for military that I think it would have just gone hand in hand. Explosions, Transformers, G.I. Joe characters, live action.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Fair comment.
Yeah, as you say, the military is very prominent in most of the Michael Bay films, if definitely 2007. So why wouldn't you and just throw it in rather than getting a bit of a teased in scene at Bumblebee, wasn't it?
Beast,
Post credits.
Beast.
Oh, Rise of the Beast. That was a one.
Rise
Yes.
of the Beast, yeah.
And even then, that's a tease, and I feel that G.I. Joe is sort of looking desperately for a way to cinema to sort of cling on a little bit, and I think an avenue in with Transformers will be better for G.I. Joe than it would be for Transformers. But that's
the internet seems to be screaming that Hemsworth is being courted for a role in the G.I. Joes.
It could be. I wouldn't have faced him for Optimus Prime if I'm honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
I'm not saying I hate it. I just wouldn't have called it.
Doesn't quite give me that stoic kind of Peter Cullen type archetype. You know, do you know what I'm saying? That kind of character set. I guess it's for the younger kind of mindset of Orion Pax / Prime, but still, it doesn't quite. Yeah.
He doesn't sound too youthful for me. That's the thing. Like he's, you know, he's very much Thor, isn't he? And he has that kind of a deep, godlike voice. He's got that kind of booming presence. So if he's supposed to be playing what is very much depicted as like a 20-year-old-esque Optimus Prime or Orion Pax, he's young adult. I don't know if that fully buys in, but I'm still going to see it. I hope it does well. I think if it will do well, and like with what Bisto's saying, is you're going to see more films like that. And I wonder if the days of live action could kind of be shelved a bit, because I think it's no secret, maybe with the exception of Bumblebee, all the films were making less each time going into Dark of the Moon, you know, all of those, as they went on, the revenue return was less and less, and they're not cheap to make. They are expensive films.
Well, if you think about
getting cheaper, sorry,
tech is getting cheaper. Sorry, Drew, continue your point.
No, that was it.
All right, okay, I'll jump in with my very silly point now, because you'll be so glad. Right.
Go for it.
So we get like Into the Spider-Verse movies, and we get, you know, live action Spider-Man movies. There's no reason why the two can't coexist. I want to reach the stage where we could do like the Madam Web of the Transformers movie. I've set some off there. Where we do a Transformers movie. Well, there's no actual fucking Transformers in it.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I think. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that, considering Hasbro are very keen not to run Earthspark and they want to bring out something else at the same time, I know what you're saying, Bisto. They could run two type of films at any one time, but it just doesn't seem to be the way Hasbro want to do things.
They've never done
put their eggs in one basket.
They've never done things. If you go back to 2009, when Animated was out there, they brought that in to fill the gap between Transformers, the original film, and the second film, Dark of the Moon, was it? Just because they felt that they needed to have a shift at the same time when the films were coming out. And I believe it was the end of the Unicron trilogies. They didn't put anything out there after that to put in the gap between that and the original Transformers film for the same reason. They thought, we can't run things concurrently. And I actually agree with all of you. I think it's silly. There is no reason why you can't do it. There's such a large fan base today to be able to enable that. And on the flip side, for me, just coming back to the question that was asked by the fan there, what do I think the future of the live action movies is? Personally, I think they're going to have to do some sort of reboot. I can't really see it continuing in the vein that it's gone through today. I see some comments in the chat there from people like Skywarp SCS saying there's a Mask crossover, which is literally staring them in the face. I totally agree with that. Bring in more of the Hasbro lore franchises that we all like and enjoy and can work with Transformers. If you're going to do live action and you're going to change things up, again, that could be a third avenue. Why not? You know, open it up, even larger universe.
I think they should stop it. Live action.
Well, Sam dropping the bomb there. So you think, what, no more cinema?
No cinema, but animation. I don't think Transformers works in live action. I think
Oh,
the
you're
first
right.
one is real, real people kind of thing. I think the first one worked because it was new, shiny. Everyone went, and it looked phenomenal. I think it really did look good, and I just think they've got steadily terrible since.
Yeah, agree.
And Bumblebee was pretty good. The rest of them, I think, have been really, really poor. I think they should either. I know it's probably too expensive, but the opening scene of Bumblebee style, they should go with that. In that animation style.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be live action, does it? It needs to be CGI animation style. Yep.
Even the animation for this Transformers one. I mean, I'll be honest. I watched the trailer and I'm like, no, I think I'm out. But the more I hear it, might not be as corny as the trailer depicts. But that's probably where it goes. I think animation is where it will work, in my opinion. I know you could do loads. I think, yeah.
I think it's been said that the opening 3-minute or so scene on Cybertron in Bumblebee is. I really enjoyed the Bumblebee film. Anyway, I did enjoy it
through and through.
If you had
robots,
but you got a real avenue there to just almost kind of do like a what if and like, well, where we left it off, when Prime stayed behind and Bumblebee jetted off, pick up the film from there effectively. How did he beat some Seekers, but what did he do after that? And then it'd be more or less the setting of the War for Cybertron Netflix series, just carried out in that film style. But I really dug that.
I like those.
That still had live action elements, so it didn't disregard everything. But at the same time, it was G1. It was familiar. It was a good balance. And I thought, just carry on and make a film of that, and I'll be straight there.
Yeah.
But
For me, a lot of the live action negative points are to do with how much they thrust the humans into the forefront and try and focus the storyline on that, because Bumblebee was great for avoiding that. We had a couple of focused characters which built relationships with the bots and had some actual influence in the storyline, and that made sense. But in the other films, as you said, all of you've said, as they've progressively gotten worse and worse and worse, it seems to be this forced attitude of adding in lore around humans and what we've done in the past and all this kind of stuff, and the army elements. I just don't care. I just want to see the story about the Transformers. It's called Transformers for a reason. Can we have more Transformers, please?
And as well, they spend all this time building up these characters, but then the next film they just go, they don't exist. Produce a new one.
They're gone now.
Yeah.
And we'll spend another 45 minutes telling you about and people that we don't care about, as you say. Yeah. And they also pick the wrong characters in depiction. I think for me, Rise of the Beasts. What's his name? Mirage. Jazz was just an absolute travesty. It was.
I didn't mind him. It wasn't my favorite film. I think it had its drab moments, but I didn't mind Mirage of all.
Mirage.
Mirage, yeah.
Mirage. Yeah, quite right.
He's definitely a new character with a new focus and a new kind of direction, and I like that. But I know what you mean about sort of soiling the Mirage name. It doesn't make any sense to me. But if we think of him as a new character bringing new elements to the franchise, he was probably one of the better ones, right? With the heart.
That mirrors, he can do reflections of himself. He's a brilliant character, isn't he?
As long as we don't talk about Pablo.
Yeah, let's not talk about Pablo.
Oh God. That could be consigned to the bin of time. That was
what was the point of that? Yeah,
like the film was not bad. I did not mind Scourge as a big evil. I thought I bought into that. It was more or less passable. The characters were fine. The Beast characters were okay, but Pablo.
The Beast had characters.
You had one.
They were all there in the background.
Rhinox did not have one speaking line. No. I think he had a speaking line and they cut it.
They did,
Yeah,
it's supposed to be during the fight or something.
When they were in that scene where they were in the dark caves and they were chasing after whatever the dude's name was and the lady. Well, anyway, just further to the point that I don't really care about the human.
Yeah, I think
the odd bit about that. Sorry.
It's been said though, hasn't it, around too much human interaction. I mean, I'll come back to it. Bumblebee for me had the perfect level of human interaction. It was just enough to have something, but we weren't all about the humans. Yeah,
I had a reason to be there in a sense. It
Yeah.
worked for the story. Just on Rise of the Beast, oddly enough, and as much as you'll be surprised to know that I don't like Beast Wars, but the best bit of that film, but the best bit of that film, and possibly not all of them, one of the best bits of all of them was when when he gets rid of the bird. I don't know the names. Razor, is it Razor called the bird?
Air Razor.
Air Razor, yeah.
When he has to, spoilers, take her out, get rid of her. That scene there, I thought was spectacular because it was characters having a proper moment that really worked.
Mm-hmm.
Transformer characters having a proper. Agreed. Yeah,
exactly. And you come out of that bit and went, okay, that had meaning to it. That scene that had some thought behind it. I really liked that bit.
It wasn't done just for the sake of it. Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah, I think cinema, and particularly as well, like with Bumblebee being effectively a one-off, and I don't think that really surprises anyone, and then Rise of the Beast probably being a one-off. I can't see that going into any kind of trilogy or whatever else.
Trilogy, though.
Well, there's no rumblings of anything further, is there?
They had a lot of plans, but I think based on how it's gone, I can't see it really going anywhere.
No.
I mean, it's talk of it being Unicron, though, isn't it? And he's been introduced, but I wouldn't say Rise of the Beast left it open, other than the G.I. Joe bit at the end. But that doesn't it means to say we're going to bring all these characters back and make a trilogy of it. I feel the films, it's just like, let's do a film. And like you said, Sam, you hit the nail on the head. Let's introduce some characters. By the next film, you won't remember them. I don't think we'll see Midjazz or whatever again.
No.
Is
new ones. I wonder though, do they have the G.I. Joe crossover thing and Unicron be the baddie? Is that the second stage of this trilogy? Maybe they do that and they have to team up together.
Maybe
to take him down. I don't know. Yeah.
But I've said this before. Unicron is kind of the hard reset on anything Transformers. If you look at comics, if you look at TV shows, and if you look at the '86 film, it's like, if you're going to introduce Unicron, where do you go beyond Unicron? You've got to do a hard reboot beyond that because there's nothing bigger. So, but maybe cinema is getting that way for Transformers.
Maybe a TV series, live action.
Maybe. I seem to
like Animorphs.
Oh God, let's not go there.
That was a sentence.
No, you kill me now.
I mean, if we can have a Game of Thrones dragon, we can have a Transformer live action.
That's a fair point.
Agreed. Yeah. I don't know if HBO got the interest in it, but it's worth a shout, if nothing else.
And then you just have cars driving around talking to each other. Right, Riley?
Yeah. No, that is the film Cars.
Yeah.
But talking about things to get excited for, which I believe you all will be, this time next month, or less than that, probably only just about 2.5 weeks away, we are TF Nation bound. Let's drum up some excitement for that.
Are we?
Well, we are.
It's coming up.
We are going to be TF Nation, and are we all excited for it? It's Europe's biggest Transformers convention. If for those who are not aware, it's our second Christmas. Billy, who obviously hosts TF Nation, has been doing the sofas, shall we say, around with YouTube channels, and it is picking up a lot of hype, a lot of interest. What about you all? What are you looking forward to this year, in particular, or that you enjoy every year about it? I think great.
I'm really glad I started going. It's my third year. I was going to go the year before, decided against it. I don't know why, but I'm really glad I've started going. It is good fun. I do look forward to it, and it's just good fun. There's not, that's it. It's just a good weekend. Everyone is there for the same reason, so it's I really enjoy it.
So look, for me,
Yep.
as you all know, I've been going to Transformers conventions now for a long time, longer than I care to say. This will be 20 years. 20 years it'll be for me. And I've done it in various guises. I've done it as just a person who was 18, 19 at the time, didn't really know like everything about Transformers, and was learning back in 2004 to, running a stand for Hasbro in the late 2000s, and then actually selling stuff for myself in the early 2010s. And I think the whole UK convention scene has morphed, and TF Nation obviously has morphed from Auto Assembly, or it came from, over time into this behemoth, as you said, Christmas for all of us. It is an absolutely quintessential event of the year that you have to go to. Like, I mean, I'm not forcing people, but if you're missing out, you're missing out. Seriously, it is the best thing of the year in terms of bringing all the collectors together, bringing your friends together, bringing the kind of buzz and the hype and the dealer room and everything together. It's just something totally different. And I know they haven't released numbers for the last couple of years, but I would be shocked if we're not banging on the door of 1,000 attendees now. It's getting that large. So for me, I'm excited. It's my first year as a dealer for 12 years, I think, something like that. So I will be having a little stall there. I hope to see you all there. Come and say hello, even if you're not buying anything. Yes, I know Drew's shaking his head there like, screw you.
You just need to get some ring raiders for him.
Hey, I will have GoBots if that counts.
Get out.
I think TF Nation
do not bring your filth on my stream, sir.
Absolutely something one-off, and we are so lucky to have it here in the UK, relatively accessible to all of us from Birmingham. That is, one of the placards on the year for me, on the diary, set up straight away. Must be done.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to see if I can share my screen and you can see some of the guests that are going to be there this year, because that's something I sort of kicked myself for what we've got. Clicking. How does Paul do this? All right, let's go and see what this does. There we go. So I try to get everyone in the right page, but we've got some. I mean, a big one for me is David Kay. Seeing him this year as a Beast Wars fan, but likes of Greg Berger. We got Jim Sorensen, of course, Nick Roach, Simon Furman, Ed Pierre, James Roberts, who's been there before. There's kind of a bit for everyone, and I don't know if it just seems, but it feels quite packed out for guests this year. I think some years, or the last couple of years, maybe have been a bit quieter. So seeing some of these people, I think that's going to be quite something. And not everyone's going to have a panel. Some people might just do tables for meet and greets. But there's enough there that if you're comic orientated, if you're TV orientated or whatever, you've got something there for you.
Game orientated.
I'm just really, or game orientated.
David
That's one
Kay's
thing that
awesome.
I think is missing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we need a little bit more influence from the games. David Kay is awesome. Greg Berger, I've seen him there before. He's been immense. Jim Sorensen, for me, did a really good piece at TF UK Con on a video a couple of years ago, which I really enjoyed, about the history files and about how he got involved in a lot of the back end information that he pulled out, which really was insightful for me as someone who doesn't read, so I didn't read any of his stuff.
Don't read in general.
I can't read. I'm literally illiterate.
Yeah.
So
so you got someone else to do the voiceover for your Choose Your Own Adventure then?
yes.
Hey, I did it.
You backed yourself in the corner with that one, didn't you?
No, I'm joking. Obviously, I read, but I'm just not a very big reader. I'm very much a cartoon orientated guy. So for me, it's all the voice actors, it's all the illustrators, those sorts of people definitely bring me in. But definitely the people in the community is now really starting to build up. The origins and the people who are adding so much, like all of you guys, for example. They're the kind of attractions for me these days, meeting mini celebs.
I mean, there is a niceness to that. I think, and I've said this to anyone who wants to go and isn't sure about going. Even if you don't want to see the panels, if you just want to go and see the panels, but even just being in the bar with other Transformers fans, and that very good moment when someone walks around with a Transformer. There's one guy, I don't know his name, but I recognize his face, and he tends to have something that's quite fresh when TF Nation comes round, and it's a conversation starter. So first time I saw him, Siege Commander Class Jetfire came out. It literally came out like 2 days prior. So that was a conversation starter. Last time it was, I'm trying to think, was it the Nemesis or was it the Ark? Something, or might have had both. I think Nemesis had just come out.
Yeah,
and again, that was a conversation starter, and that's how you meet people, and that's where the magic of TF Nation really shines. So, but I'm going to definitely try and do more panels. I say it every year, but I really am. I'll see what the scheduling is actually going to be, and actually go into the rooms for a change and hearing what people are going to say. Otherwise, what's the point of buying a ticket? So I might as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does Chris McFeely have a panel this year, or is he? He does.
He's got he's doing the Matrix quiz. He's awesome. No, you think I mean, goodbye me. You want an aneurysm? Do a Chris McFeely quiz. It's
knowledge that guy
has. He's no Alexis, but he's all right at doing a quiz.
I mean, GoBots isn't going to be in there.
Are you saying that, Bisto? Like that's an echelon he's got to get to?
I think Chris knows how to do some perfectly good questions, and some perfectly good kind of Transformers related word bubbles and thoughts and picture quizzes and different combinations of words to get to the correct answer of what Transformers are. Yeah, but it doesn't have the chaos element that Alexis puts into a quiz.
I mean, it is true. Alexis will produce a quiz that will shatter your mind into Chris's quiz will make you burrow every corner of your mind for the most minute detail. Alexis will do the same, but to your very soul and questioning your life choices.
Absolutely.
Such is the madman with a microphone. Why would you even do it? But I'm so looking forward to it, and it's really not far away. I've said before, it feels like it's really snuck up on me this year, which I'm just it's going to be such a good one. But to that point, I'm going to go on to something else. We're halfway through the year, and TF Nation is a big shopping trip in and of itself. But to that point, we've all had some pickups of the years. What would you say is your highlight of the year that you picked up so far? Now half the year is done. What have you picked up this year? It doesn't have to be a brand new release, but I've got my one here just to kickstart. Sam, you're like this. It's a Fans Toys.
Yes.
Fans Toys Inquisitor.
Beautiful.
I was very much on the fence of him, but I thought he was just looking so good, particularly when he got released. And he's perfectly good for transformation. Maybe a little step heavy, but not argumentative. And when you put him alongside the other two Fans Toys releases, I love the sort of the shading. I get my finger right. Get that kind of shading here, misted, faded blue on the inside. There's a lot here to like. The head sculpt is lovely. It's really kind of taken me by surprise. And I still think Quietus, their Cyclonus, is one of the best figures of a third party ever done. So
agreed.
To get him alongside is even more brilliant. But that's mine. So for you, gentlemen, what's been your pickup of the year so far? Oh, hello.
Yeah,
no, not a fucking vacuum cleaner.
It's got 2 modes. This thing is a beast.
You are so 40 years old.
I wanted
You are
them.
such a middle-aged.
It lights up.
It's not even the vacuum cleaner that looks like Galvatron. So
No.
And it's all got. It's just amazing.
What's its name?
Stratos.
Stratos. I would go. Yeah, fair enough.
that sounds like
It's
a He-Man
actually-
character.
Ah,
So does Fisto,
I'm
but we won't go into that.
It has.
I picked
Speaking
him
of
up
it,
from
Touche.
the Prime Day sale.
is that your pickup of the year? Is that been your highlight?
I was doing an Alexis head, really, aren't I?
You are.
Oh, you are. Do you want to look around your collection while we take our time?
In many ways, you are.
Oh God, he's touching the pinning box.
to be Alexis.
Like,
Sorry, mate. That
right,
ship has already
Bisto,
sailed.
let's go to you. What's been your highlight?
Is it just one?
Yeah,
You can have an honorary mention.
gun to your head. What you got to pick one? What's been your best one?
Right. Okay. So we're going. So Nick Roach on the Twitters was selling off some, doing some sketches. So I bought this off Nick Roach, which is a sketch of Megatron. It is based on his G1 toy head. So got this cool little. So I think that's probably my
Has that been a
favorite
commission
pickup.
that you asked?
No,
him to do?
he was doing several that he'd done several G1-esque characters and was selling them. I'm not sure if it was for personal gain or for a charity. I can't remember, but don't quote me on it. So he had several for sale. Most of them, by the time I realised, because got to get quick on these Twitter sales. Most of them had gone already, so I probably would have gone for a side swipe if it would have been still available. But I saw this Megatron and I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting that." So that's probably my one of a kind. Yeah.
Oh, there you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a transforming character, which I think leads into Rohan's one.
It's a transforming character.
Well, no, you can't transform a piece of paper, can you?
No, but it is a transforming character.
Yes, I know. It is still Transformers, so I'll allow it.
And into a paper aeroplane.
Yes, you can.
An expensive paper aeroplane.
Yeah.
We'll cry afterwards, but yes, it will transform. Won't get it back.
Someone else gets it. Go. Oh, that's nice. And unfolds it. Go on, Rohan. What's your choice?
So I'm going to precursor my choice with a little bit of background. This is probably the first time since 2021 I've had such a low number of pickups in the year. I was just looking back through my records and I've only picked up 31 lots to this date this year. Only. I mean, let me just put that into context for you. Last year I was at 82 by this time of the year, so it's a big difference, right? And
so rookie numbers at the moment.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. So what can we say? But one thing I have picked up this year, and that
was 31 lots.
31 lots. Yeah.
Not 31 figures.
No, you're right.
That was 31 lots.
Yeah. No, it's a very pertinent point.
31 shipping containers.
There was 400 bots in one lot, which I am reselling as part of that. So that kind of counts. Like, yeah, there is 400
That's like
bots.
my entire collection.
So yeah, look, let's put it into context. But for this year, I would say I looked at those.
It's like watching The Apprentice, isn't it?
And I chose this little baby here, Super 7 Ultimate Collection. Let me just open it up here for you. This was a recommendation by the great Rudy Suzu. And here we have, and if I can get the light.
Alligator Prime.
Alligator Prime with all the gubbins from City of Steel, I believe it was, the episode where Megatron basically transforms. I can't remember which city it was. Was it Chicago or Boston? I can't remember. One of the cities into a new Cybertron, and as in the process, Prime becomes parts and turns into Alligator Prime, and then gets dismantled and all sorts. And you get taxis, which get turned into sort of Viacons, if you like, the very early first iteration of what are they called? Collectible? No, Builderbots. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Do we?
Yeah, you do. So yeah, that I think this for me is the kind of set which is such a one-off. We're never going to see anything like this again. And the play factor for this, I know I haven't taken it out of the box because I'm Rohan and I never take anything out of the box. But the play factor for me, when I actually do get it out of the box, is going to be immense because it's just totally one-off. So for me, it's this set. I don't think I'll probably get too many other Super 7 Ultimate sets because they are expensive. I do like Super 7, but the lack of articulation in them and whatnot kind of leads me to where we are with those. So this one was a must-have. Thank you.
Oh, there you are. No, that's good. Nice alligator. Will he ever come out of the box?
He will definitely come out of the box because I want to see how this looks, especially the bit with Prime's arm on there. Oops, excuse me, medication time. Put the gun in Prime's arm on that building and have a go at fighting against Alligator Con, all that kind of good jazz. Has to be done.
Fair enough. Thank you for that. Sam, what about you? What's been your pickup of the year so far?
Him. The missing link. Missing link. There's no figure of the year.
That's hard to argue, isn't it?
Incredible. Yeah, I don't know. It's what we should have got, isn't it? It's what we should have got years ago. Opening it was just brilliant. It's just fantastic. Not much else to say about it. It's just really, really cool. Every time I come in here, I kind of look at it and go, it's just really good. Yeah.
As you say, like we've had so many reissues of G1 Prime. Why couldn't we have had this like 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago?
It's just unreal how just those few extra bits that move it give it so much character, literally.
Makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, fantastic.
It's one that I really, really do want to get. But I don't know. It's I've heard so many good things. Again, I think that's going to be a bit like if I see that at TF Nation, I'll just go drink.
Thing is, I kind of get it because for me, if I put that on the shelf and put it next to SS86 Prime, as we talked about earlier today, and the prices are relatively similar, if you're a toon guy, then I can kind of see why you'd go for 86. If you're a toy guy, then I can totally get why you go for Missing Link.
And then they're going to do the deluxe version. That's
basically the Hasbro version of this. Yeah.
If you've got any connection to the toy, I think
this is the one to go for.
You have to. It's just there's something about it.
I'm tempted to get it because I only had a G2 Prime back in the day. Never had G1, and he's been battered beyond belief. Broken everything. So I could kind of look at it and go, maybe this makes up for what I didn't have. But we have a bigger question in the chat, if I may, Drew. This one's aimed at you. Around your vacuum, I reckon, which one is that? Is it the second version? So now vacuum chat is taking over.
I don't know which continuity it is.
Which universe is it from?
It might be. I think it might be G2.
It might be Generation
I thought
2.
it was related to Cybershark, to be honest with you. But...
Yeah,
could be a shark.
It's a 2024. It says 2024 on the side here, so it's got to be a recent one. It's not.
Maybe it's a KO.
It's
vacuum burst.
Pet Pro model, if that helps. Comes with a little attachment you can actually hoover your pets with.
I have to say, the lights on the front of it remind me of Searchlight, the G1 Throttlebot.
The lady comes around and does it for you.
No, she doesn't.
That's the alt mode. So it all detaches and it all comes out, and then the lady comes out.
This isn't going to be your choice of pickup for the year.
You're really selling this to me.
This is the thing. Apart from that, I haven't bought many. I would have to say it's Gears.
Yeah, Gears is cool.
The Legacy one.
Yeah.
A lot of people do like it.
The bot mode is excellent.
Non-transformer, I would probably go with this little chap.
Hold on, let's put you big. Let's make you big.
What is it?
Warhammer.
Yes.
It is a Warhammer of some description.
He is the White Dwarf.
Oh.
So he's the anniversary figure for thingy. My camera's a bit shit, so you can't see it that well.
Okay. Well, at least we weren't going to go with a vacuum for your.
I'd still say that is one of the top purchases of the year. It'd be my top three.
I mean, and you guys rat on me for GoBots. Seriously, get out. Just get out.
At least you chose a robot.
This could be a GoBot.
No. Get out.
What are you worried it's going to besmirch the good name of GoBots?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
It's got an 8-meter cord as well, in case you hadn't already read that on the box.
That's a flex.
Gotta go cordless these days.
You have to, yeah. Can't be tripping over cables. taking out your Transformer collection and doing so.
Yeah, cordless is the way forward.
So I quickly mentioned it, and I'll go back to it for those of you who are interested. Video games in Transformers, because we had a similar question about what do we think about future of cinema, but what do we think about video games? In my opinion, it's never been high on Hasbro's agenda. We get once a flood. It doesn't come out very often, and quite often they're sort of media tie-in-ish. We don't get many standalones, but do you guys think it's untapped media, something we could and would and should see more of?
I think yeah.
Sorry. I think we could easily do like a telltale rather game. So kind of point and click adventure on Cybertron or anywhere really involving the Transformers. It would be a nice narrative thing. It wouldn't take too much work to do. Apart in terms of drawing it all, someone's got to write it, obviously, but it would be a nice.
There's no shortage of Transformer writers, is there?
Yeah, Carl Furman.
Get in there, boy. We'll do it.
Resurrect War for Cybertrons.
Yeah. War for Cybertron. Getting a proper trilogy, getting a proper ending to that would do nice.
Yeah.
Just the mechanics of it, the way, just how fluid the transformation was, and how useful it was, and kind of like how everything kind of engaged from a player front on that. It was fantastic. And then you'd be playing it, and then all of a sudden you'd get a level, and you were Bruticus, and it was just like glorious.
Oh, that's so good.
But you got to be Grimlock, and it was I mean,
being you get to be Grimlock first, and then Bruticus followed. I think because I remember playing as Grimlock.
Yeah,
and I was just like, this is brilliant. This is kind of all you want. Flaming dinosaur, swiping tail, absolutely. Oh, now I can be a Decepticon Warlord combiner. Oh, all right then, I'll do that.
And you just sort of like using blasts off jet engines to flavor people, and then charging people with vortexes.
That blades,
blades. It was just
That's a quality level. I remember that combining for the first time. You're like, I'm here to fuck shit up. I'm here to fuck shit up.
This isn't a cutscene. I get to do this. It was like,
Do you imagine if they took that one step further and actually went with Titans? Imagine actually moving around as Metroplex, destroying cities.
I'd like to see with sort of like a Mech Commander type crossover with you actually controlling the Titan, if that makes sense. Through the battlefield. That would be awesome.
Did you not get to do that with Metroplex?
I don't think you could, because he raised a Titan. I would love to. Drew, you games still you still got them on Steam, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm not going to load it up now.
Well, why not?
That would be going full Alexis.
Yeah, we're going to go. We're going to suddenly just mid-stream turn into a gaming channel.
That'll get me kicked off for sure.
I'd like to see something that has not a linear path, because although it's nice to jump between Autobots and Decepticons in the way they did it for the two games you just talked about, it was one story and it's just going one direction. I'd like options, kind of Baldur's Gate-y in a way, but what you do has consequence, and then you can go off. Maybe you start as a bot who hasn't decided which faction he wants to go on, and what you do takes you on two possible stories, maybe something else.
Like those books that I used to read. I can't remember what the name of the characterization was, but they did them in the 80s, those old Ladybird books, which you could choose which direction to take the game in. I'm not a big gamer, so I haven't played like Transformers games since Beast Wars and the PS2 game came out, and I did play Devastation a bit, but I'm a big mobile gamer, and I've been playing Transformers Earth Wars for the last 6 years.
You've been keeping that server single-handedly online.
Yeah, probably.
You are balls deep in that game.
Although I have to admit, I am a free-to-play player, so I'm not really helping the numbers that massively. So, but yeah, no, I'd love to see, like you guys have said, for me, it's about quality. You know, if you're going to have the Transformers name on something, it has to be a quality game that can attract the masses, because if it doesn't, then it's just going to be a flop, and it's just going to cost us in the Transformers franchise loads of money. So it just needs to a little bit of quality to bring it to, obviously has to tick the box for all of us. We have to all enjoy it, but for other people in the world to actually get some sort of semblance of enjoyment out of it, not from a Transformers perspective, from a playability perspective, a GTA for Transformers sort of thing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think there's some things, like I'm playing through Mass Effect at the moment. This game series I absolutely love. That goes into what Drew was saying. You get the consequences, you get a lot of conversations that have actions, and that's great. But there is only so much you can adapt that to Transformers. And I think whilst it's good to have a sandbox GTA game, free to do what you like, blow up what you like, it's hard to adapt that to Autobots versus Decepticons, or for what is the cornerstone of a Transformers. So, well, generally things are. You can't say most Transformers stories aren't war. Very few of them. They might be a bit of peacetime, but generally it goes back to conflict. So it has to be like a tit for tat level design. Whatever we get or do, and get is the iffy word because we still don't know about Reactivate, do we?
No.
Is the war for Cybertron. At least you can play as the Decepticons, and I still can't believe how many bloody games have come out that you just play as the Autobots. Okay, good guys win. I find the good guys can still win, but let me experience some of the characters. You know, let me play as Starscream. Let me play as Soundwave.
It's like excluding 50% of the franchise. Why would you do it? It doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, sorry.
What about you, Sam? Are you a gamer at all?
I am on and off. I'll admit, I don't think I've ever played a Transformers game that I can remember.
Maybe if Fan Stories endorse it, maybe you will.
Yeah, maybe. I go in and out again. I mean, generally over the past, it's been more sort of the FIFAs and the Maddens and the Call of Duties when I can be bothered to try it, or Mario Kart, those sorts of games. I don't know why I've never really tried one out. So yeah, I've got no real thing in that game, opinion in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it does depend which way the wind blows when it comes to Hasbro. As I say, Reactivate, which I've said before, is being made in my hometown. But being made is the if it's going to be made. Yeah, so they've still got the banner up. I walk past the building and it's still there behind their reception. They've got a big entrance of it. Yeah,
I don't like dress yourself up as a pizza delivery guy and try and get in.
Don't think I have not thought of it. Do not think I haven't thought of it.
Get undercover.
Yeah, I have tried a few times, and I still might. But of course, the thing has to actually show a little bit of life, and at the moment, it is not. But that just comes back to what I said at the start. I think just mobile games withstanding, video games are just not high on Hasbro's agenda. And it's a shame because there has been the odd gem. 2003. The PlayStation 2 game for Armada was still perfectly good, albeit of its time and technology, but still did perfectly fine. Devastation was a fanboy's game, but still enjoyable. And War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, they weren't tied into anything. They weren't necessarily trying anything different. It was just, let's just do a game on Cybertron. And you just think you proved you can come up with a gem from time to time, but they don't see the focus on it. They would rather go to cinema rather than going to console. But there we go. So I guess I'll open up to you guys now because I've thrown out a lot of topics. So what about you guys? What's a burning topic with you for Transformers?
Wow, there's a curveball.
Wow, yeah.
Someone else do my job.
When are we going to get a GoBots tie-in? Yeah.
I need MP GoBots. I'd buy them.
Action Toys started doing them a few years ago. They were really good, and then they just sort of stopped midway through, and they never really. the whole cartoon thing and then the licensing thing. I mean, I know there are too many hurdles. Basically, it's never going to happen. But I would absolutely love to see the Autobots versus the Renegades, the Decepticons versus the Guardians. You know, something going on with a crossover there. Mask crossover, definitely. Yeah, just so much we could do.
What's more important, the modes like the alt mode, and then what would you prefer? I'll start this again. A robot that's got objectively or subjectively perfect bot mode and alt mode with a really shitty transformation that takes you ages, or a really fun transformation which sacrifices on the modes and going, it doesn't look brilliant, but it's fun.
That's a really good question.
You're talking about a toy or a figure, yeah?
Yep.
So what would you rather have? Would you rather they put all their eggs into the modes and then go, well, we've got to make it a 450,000 step process to get there?
Yep.
Or would you rather than make it easy and fun so you can flip it around, but the modes don't really look that good?
I think I'm probably the worst person to answer this question because I am exactly your target audience, which is I buy toys based on the modes, based on the how they look, the aesthetics. So that's why I'm a huge Magic Square fan, because their robot and alt modes look absolutely immense, but the transformations are not great, let's be honest. However, that's kind of why I used to buy Hasbro, because Hasbro used to bring fun toys out which were reasonably priced, and so I could have exactly the two ends of the spectrum, if you like. Buy the Magic Square one for exactly what you just said, tune accuracy, both modes. Buy the Hasbro one just to have a bit of playability and fun factor at a low cost point. And I think Hasbro are kind of going away from that. I'm not going to say that in a negative fashion, because look at SS86 Prime, it's absolutely stupendous. However, it has led me to a hole in my collection, which is the playability side that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
That's me.
I mean, I'm going to cheat and say I want the best of both worlds, because I tend to buy. I'll either buy to play or I'll buy to display. So, like, recently I got Cannonball. He's just this is a character. They're never going to make an MP Cannonball.
No.
They're never going to make, whatever third party kind of cool looking Cannonball, but it's a cool little fidgety desk toy. Whereas with, the Toy World cell shaded Devastator, I'm never going to touch that again in my life. Because every time I touch it or move it or go, shall I try and uncombine it? I devalue it every time. Some will pop off, some will scratch, some screw will break loose, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna kind of it stays up there and that's it. So
it looks pretty.
Yeah.
I'll pay or display. That's the play or display.
I get entirely where Bisto's coming from. I do want it both ways, but I think if it's a bad transformation, it doesn't matter how good the alt mode is going to be. I'm not going to put myself through it to get there. And that's the thing. Like, when I picked up transformations that are absolute ball ache, I'm just like, this isn't fun. I don't enjoy it. The transformation has to be fun. Or at least not. I like a puzzle. I like to be engaged, but I don't want it fighting me. And I don't like I've sold Transformers because it doesn't clip in, and then it's a floppy mess, and it's a ball like getting it from A to B. And I think you're hard work. But the one I go on about a lot, I said to you, Sam, the Fans Toys Maverick, their Silverbolt. I love how that looks in both modes, and I actually like that transformation. It's involved, but it's a good level of involved. Inquisitor's another one. He's not too bad. He's intricate, but maybe one piece is a bit hard work, but fine. But if it's blood boiling, then I'll lose interest, because I've said this line before, I'll say it again. A transformer that isn't fun to transform fails as a transformer. And I stand by that.
You could argue with that.
See, for me, I love a big challenge, a big complicated mess. and that's where I get my fun. I like if I've done it, I've got an achievement.
But I will say, to the point that Bisto made around Devastator behind him, I'm the same. I've got Kang Toys Predaking up there, Thunder King, very heavy to combine and put together. I'm not going to decombine that ever. Why would I? I don't want to get it down off the shelf. It'll probably kill me.
I think for me, I'm in a similar boat now. With I haven't counted my bots anytime recently, but I must have several thousand now, and to actually get a chance to play with any of them, to actually get any fun out of transforming. Yes, of course, I can grab a bot from here on the despots, but most of them are up on display, and they stay up on display, and they stay in the mode they are for many years, probably. So it's hard, to spend that time, unless you have a really core focus of, I am dedicated to just these bots, and that's all I'm going to collect, and mine just spews out of control.
Yeah, my collection spews out of control as well.
Yeah,
it's in like the little supporting
nooks
structure
and crannies.
You're using your space very well.
Yeah, I've still got a couple of empty slots. There is a Grimlock in there, but you can't really see him.
You're going to come and visit me at TFN, right?
Look at his face. He's saying,
I can see a Grimlock in there.
Yeah, it's very, very, very slight.
Yeah, I can see just about see legs. Yeah.
Shadow, yeah.
There you are. Amazing what you can find in someone's basement. But yeah,
someone like maybe Baby Hamish.
Oh, you!
Oh no!
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's not
I'll
go
kick
there.
You. I will kick you. New Alexis, I'll kick you. So, anything else? Any more before we go on to the revealing of the drawings?
How are people keeping up to date with the latest comics? Or
But music to Sam's ears. Yes, I am. It's Skybound is brilliant, and I really want to talk about it in depth, but it's hard to without giving away spoilers. I'm a big IDW fan. I'm not the latter stages of IDW, but Lost Light, Morning Meets the Eye, was in Disguise. There was some real good stuff that I just really enjoyed. And I was very reserved when Skybound came out. And I thought, this is quite detached to what I remember and all of this. But yeah, every issue's been a belter. Just improved and improved and improved.
So I think I might be on the reverse feelings of it.
Oh, you're not taken?
I've really liked the G.I. Joe stuff. I think that's building up really nicely. But I think the Transformers is becoming a bit of a monotonous trudge.
Ooh.
It's overly bleak. They've not had the need for me to establish what actually kills a Transformer and what doesn't, and what's from what state can things be repaired from. And it's just it's just like, come on, yeah, enough grimdark. How long do you expect this comic series to last? Whereas G.I. Joe seems to be setting up for like a big arc of for many things to come. The Transformers one looks like you're just going to run out of stuff in a year at this rate.
I'm with you on that, because I think there was a battle with Starscream and Soundwave. I don't think that's too big a spoiler. And Soundwave absolutely bitches Starscream. And yeah, I see what you mean. Like, you could take a battering and not die, but some other characters have died. So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Have they? Can they be rebuilt? I don't know. We don't know.
They haven't got enough Elder John. They're keeping an
maybe
story,
that's
at least.
That's why the war is eternal in their version of things, that you just keep getting built back up again and sent back out to die.
Well, let's be honest. Transformers, no one's died and stayed dead, have they? Everyone's come back. In one point, maybe Alpha Trion?
Did Brawn ever come back?
No.
Well, he made it into the opening scene of the Bumblebee film and got shot in the same place again.
Yeah.
You think he would have learned his lesson by now? It's been 40 years. But yeah, I mean, Drew, I know you've read Skybound. Where do you stand on it?
I'm enjoying it, but I was going to ask Mr. Bisto, so are you still doing the Void Rivals, or are you not in that way?
No, I kind of because I've switched at some point from getting physical to getting digital, and I kind of forgotten where I'm up to with Void Rivals. So
because I think Springer and Hot Rod are dancing around in that now.
Right,
I know Springer is, yeah.
I've seen some covers,
according to the covers that I've seen.
Well,
and Sam and Rohan, you're not really comic people, are you?
No,
No.
can't read.
I'm starting.
Yeah, that's true.
you can look at pictures, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, funky pictures. Eh?
Can I plug another comic?
Go on, you can plug another comic.
Well, my friend Matt Hardy, who owns Mad Robot Comics, is teamed up with Andy Lanning of Guardians of the Galaxy fame, and anyone that he often writes with Dan Abnett, and they're putting out a graphic novel which will be on Kickstarter very soon called Angel Eyes, and that's a heaven versus hell kind of conflict. So,
okay,
Not the guy for the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Interesting.
You've heard it here first.
I've started that. What's it called? That new comic they've just released. The Robots in Disguise. I think it's just a retelling of the original story.
Which one's that?
It's just called Transformers Volume 1, Robots in Disguise, Energon Universe. It's
need a bit of help.
I think that's where we are. That's the Skybound one.
Oh, is it?
Looking a bit rough around the edges drawing kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's that one I sent you a picture of the other day.
What did you send me? Oh, yes, you did. You sent me. Yeah. That is Skybound. That is the.
Is it?
You're issue 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just saw that and I've given it a go.
Kids, mate.
Yeah, I thought that.
Well, he was reading that while the football was on in the background, so he's either not watching the football, or he's not reading the comic. So he's one of the two.
We know.
I'm not
which
into
one
it.
it
It's
is.
been good. I tell you what, this is how my comic knowledge is non-existent. I looked at a page with loads of speech bubbles and went, "In what order do you read?"
Yeah, exactly. I would be the same way.
I was going to go. I assume it's left.
You get used to it.
I assume it's left to right and down like you would, but
yeah,
I got one point when is that right? But I own comics. I've got lots of old ones, and I've got like the first edition ones, but I don't read them. I've never been ever really got into comics. I don't know why.
I mean, I was. Go on, Rohan.
No, I was going to say the only comics I actually enjoyed were, and maybe this is because of when I was born, like some of you guys, a bit after G1 was really done. I got into the G2 comics when they first came out because there were only 5 or 6 issues. They were pretty good. I'd love to see them redo those or as in a new incarnation of those, because we've done G1 and everyone knows it. But yeah, have they done anything like that?
I don't think so. I mean,
works.
I had a lot of G2 comics because of that kind of time, and that's why I was getting a lot of tail end stuff of Transformers, and I was taking whatever I could. But I think really after G2 and Marvel stopped it, the comics went very dead, very quiet. There just wasn't much of anything going on until Dreamwave did something, and whilst it might not have been perfect, it was nice to see something back on the shelf. And then IDW picked it up from there. And I think comics have got a good place in Transformers, quite healthy. I know Marvel comics, the originals, have a good place and a good fan base, particularly for people who grew up right in the heart of '84, and it was as much about the comics as it was about the toys and everything else. But yeah, I was much more. I got the odd issue. But I was always cartoon over comic. It was only really when IDW came around and I was just like, wow, this is a little different. Everything I've known has changed, and it's all, and people did die in IDW and did stay dead.
Spoilers.
Yeah, very true.
Well, it's been enough time. Some of those comics have been out for 12 years.
I've been to the unknowingly when I was there, the IDW offices when I visited my brother in San Diego, and he went somewhere, and it was Chris Eastman. Chris Eastman, is that someone? Is he one of the writers or something? It was his office
Not sure.
at the IDW publishing house. It looked quite cool.
It's one of the what, from the Turtles.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a flex.
Yeah. I didn't. It was just this big shopping place and all that stuff. It was on an old army barracks, and then there was a comic shop, and then just around, next to it was these offices, and it. My brother's a Turtles fan, so it meant more to him than me. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Oh, very nice.
But yeah, I used to, because we'd have the odd episode of Transformers on Wackaday or whatever. But I'd be more eagerly anticipated every Saturday that comic coming through the letterbox and eagerly devouring it. So I was always comic first really with the Transformers. Famously, we didn't have Sky growing up. All right, as Rishi would say. So we only had like the few cards, season 1 and 2 episodes they showed on terrestrial, and and the comic book. So the comic book was my Transformers universe.
The VHS store. We used to go to the VHS store every Friday and rent the same damn 4 VHSs every week. We'd have Transformers the movie, Arrival from Cybertron, maybe Megatron's Master Plan, and one other 2-part from season 2, and that was it. I would just watch them every week.
Yeah,
but
I was the same.
I'd say in this terms of because obviously G2 was a continuation of the G1 storyline.
Yep.
But in the terms of it had the the more 90s extremism and kind of grim darkness.
It was much
to
darker.
it. So I'd say that maybe the new Skybound run is probably more akin to the G2 universe than it was and how kind of violent they try and detail things of where it's common things that would be like in IDW it'd be like once in an arc splash page that'd be particularly grim and nasty. It's like every other page in this thing
in Skybound. I get what you're saying, but Skybound IDW went much more emotional storytelling generally, whereas Skybound wants to make a desperate scenario, which they do. But I get different tact, and the G2 comics. I still remember. I'm sure I forget the name of the comic, but I've got it next door, where Grimlock slices Megatron clean down the middle with his sword, and I remember watching it. And then Starscream blasts a massive hole right through Grimlock when he's in beast mode, and I remember reading that like, this is a bit heavy. What's going on here?
I'm left wondering with Skybound if that's the level of things are. If they did a Wreckers storyline, what would go on there? Like, how can they up it another level?
Hugs. It'd just be hugs. They
go protest the bees.
Yeah.
Well, we could get really kind of. We could have Dinobots. We could have Predacons. We could have Wreckers, and really kind of go nasty with the gritty side of Skybound. And God knows where it's going to end up. But I like it for what it is, and Sam, it'll be interested to see if you carry on with it and see what your impressions are. It's a bit of a fresh take.
I'm going to finish it and see how it goes. Yeah.
I mean, I picked up. I'll quickly say this. I picked up the IDW Beast Wars mini series that was done, and I did not enjoy that because the artwork was not for me. It was very Picasso. It was not. It just wasn't my style, and for me, it hurt the storytelling. And it was a 3-part series, and the story was enough. It followed it, but the artwork disrupted the flow of the story, and I never thought I'd say it, but it really kind of jarred me as I was reading it.
Is it Josh Bertram? Is it? Yeah.
Could. Or isn't that for Skybound now?
No.
Could be, but Skybound. I do like it.
It's Josh Bertram.
What for the Beast Wars one?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah. It was the colorist on More Than Meets the Eye.
Well, there you are.
Mhm.
I mean, it might be the people's style, but for
Yeah.
me, it didn't work, and it ended a bit sharply at the end as well.
To be honest with you, I haven't read the last issue, I don't think.
It ends in a bit of a whimper because I think they know their story is getting cut short, and they more or less wrap up with a bit of a singular ending. But there you go. Being a Beast Wars fan, I had to try it out. Okay, we're probably at the stage of the show
A little
where we
bit Teen
have to see
Titans,
your
I'd say. Just
work.
looking at the artwork. Sorry.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. So go on. Let's see your work. So for those who joined late, there was no quiz. There was no contest as such. Well, there is a contest this week, but they have had the course of the show to draw a Transformers character from scratch, from their imagination, with criteria given. So just to quickly recap, this had to be drawn in robot form, preferably, but it would be of a jet transformer, so a Seeker type. It would have to have an arm cannon, and it has to have a name, and it has to have a short bio about it. So,
Bio. Oh well.
Oh, you can make it up on the fly. So who wants to go first? Come on, Cannon Fodder, step forward.
No.
Go on. I'll pick one. I'll do it. So help me God, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Go on.
Good lad, Bisto. Good lad. What you got for us?
Right.
It's got a
Okay.
whiteboard.
It's framed it already.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
This is Fusion Scream. So he's his bio is he's a seeker. He's very edgy because he's got skull and crossbones on his wings. You know, he's a proper edgelord pirate. He's stolen Megatron's fusion cannon to rope it up, and has moved the black hole generator onto a device he puts onto his fist. So he's got the good old Kirby crackle going on there to be able to punch black holes into people. Yeah, he can punch black holes into people.
Oh,
and he's got like some kind of flight mask thing, cone head. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
That's very cool.
I like the skull and crossbones and the fact it's like Ramjet, but not quite. No, that's good. I like that. I particularly like the black hole superpower because Christ, who's going to stop him now? Right. Go on, Rohan. I'm going to pick on you. Let's see what you've done.
Right. Okay. I will precurse this by saying I cannot draw for shit. This is.
I'm not expecting artwork.
Flight Screech.
Right.
Yeah, like that.
All right.
So Flight Screech, and I've written a little bio for him, is always the first to moan, complain, and run away from a fight. But when he does get involved, he usually gets the job done. He is a mercenary through and through and will do anything for a little energon. So for me, the fusion cannon is just this little underarm Gatling gun type fusion cannon here. And I kind of took a little bit of influence from Jetfire's original toy, I guess. The whole Valkyrie kind of head at the top, the wings being oversized, and the G1 kind of midriff, and a little wheeljack in the corner, just because, why not?
I love the biopic that you've done from there. Yeah,
I wrote it on the paper.
You actually made it sound like it's a proper toy bio there that you would get. No, nice work there. That was good. Sam, I'm going to pick on you next. What have you got for us?
Got my notes at the top, so excuse that. I have.
Nice.
Leader 2.
Leader 2.
Yeah, he's a GoBot wannabe. He's a GoBot super fan who follows
now. There's no such thing as a GoBot super fan. Come on, be realistic.
He's in the club. Show with
us. Yeah. I couldn't do hands, so I didn't bother with hands.
I couldn't do hands.
He follows the GoBots around, tries to be in their gang. So he started a fan club and a Facebook group for them.
Rohan, you could be his headmaster.
You'll probably have less brains if I was the headmaster.
And there you go. That's as far as I got.
I love the block style.
Yeah.
He's the most square-looking jet you could possibly hope to find. But I do like.
Well, he's in
your
disguise,
reference.
isn't he? You don't want to know what he is. He's all built in. He'll be
He
a
stands
jet.
about 19 foot tall. He looks
built
like
in.
most skyscrapers.
Yeah,
He's just gonna squish you with those feet.
yeah. He'll be a jet when he needs to be.
Nice.
He's like the Stay Puft guy from Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
but square.
Converted.
Go on, then, Drew. No
Well-
vacuums were harmed in the process of this.
No sharks.
He's not quite a proper jet. So
How could you
Yeah,
not quite be a proper jet?
Is it a jet cleaner?
At beaches, you get the biplanes that used to have the banners.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I kind of went slightly like that. This is tour guide.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
He does a little holiday tour, and his little cannon, just there, is normally used for cooking things like chips and stuff like that. He's just a very relaxed chap.
This
Lives in
is
the
so definitely
Cornish Riviera.
isn't it?
Mm.
I was going to say
And,
this is so
Yeah,
southwest.
he's got his Cornish flags.
Yes, he has got Cornish flags, hasn't he? God,
True,
you're
I mean-
playing to the tourism, aren't you?
That could be in the next
Mhm.
Transformers live action movie. Seriously.
Easily.
Well, would he have a West Country accent though?
It'd certainly be
I
in,
know, right?
in Brickformers, couldn't it?
Flambards is the one for
Could be in Brick
my
Falls.
local beach when I was down there in the summers. It would always be flying across, come to Flambards. But I think Flambards is getting closed down now, so maybe he's looking for a new job.
Nipples has come up with a chip cannon would be good if it
Well,
fires
he
out
doesn't
chip
fire the
packets.
chips. He's there cooking them and stuff.
He could fire
Oh,
the
yeah.
cook.
Could fire the
fire
chip,
it,
yeah.
But
And
only
have a
reasonably
bit of
priced.
anti-grav so that the chips land comfortably in someone's lap so they can enjoy them.
And then get attacked by seagulls.
Yeah.
And his headmaster could be a condiment
Yeah,
dispenser.
like a
Dispense.
ketchup bottle.
This is a long way from Cybertron, isn't it? This is so
Yes.
Cornwall
Well, he's
/Devon.
enjoying his twilight years. He's
Mhm.
retired from action. He
Yep.
comes into battle when Prime really needs him, but he's
But most of
just
the time he's
enjoying-
boosting tourism in the southwest of England.
Mm.
Okay, yeah.
maybe also uses his biplanes as a surfboard, because the other bit here is his biplane wing acts as a sandwich board. So if people want to advertise on him, they can do. So he's got it's on the front and the back.
So he's self-contained. He's earning his own money, and he's
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah,
Pays for his
If
enterprise
that's-
in a legitimate way.
yeah.
Is he
he's got his
reasonably
pension
priced?
sorted, hasn't he?
I think he'd undercut you, mate.
Reasonably priced.
Mm.
It's southwest, so nothing's reasonably priced.
Well, he'll exploit the rich tourist when they come down, because St Ives and places like that.
Bloody
You've got your third
Londoners.
homes and stuff.
Third homes. We're lucky to
I
have
live
a
Don't
single
team
home.
up with Greg's,
Cornwall.
that's all I'm saying.
Nips likes a Cornwall X Transformers crossover going
Yeah.
on here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got to pick a winner because you did all put in the effort, which is more than Pete did on the last quiz. So that's good. But I will pick. I've got to pick Drew there with his tourism guide. That
Pretty
was a
impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
worthy winner
yeah.
there,
Great job,
Drew. So
yeah.
well done.
Thank you very much,
I'll-
gentlemen.
Well played.
I'll see
Well
about
played, sir.
ending it onto the thumbnail. But we got a little bit more time to kill. So, anything else you guys want to bring up? Anything more Transformer
Boxes.
related? In boxes. We want to talk about boxes.
You keep them.
Yep. Every single one.
You
Yeah,
really-
Keeping
Good.
this
Next
one.
topic.
yeah, that one
So,
keep. You have to keep
Yeah.
that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Collectible, mate.
Yeah.
Well, you damage its resale value.
Rohan, you probably.
I'm going to get the creators to sign it for me.
Boxes percentage-wise. What are they? If I'm selling this tomorrow, with the box or without the box, what's the
In my-
percentage rough?
In my personal opinion, somewhere between 15 and 25% of the value is
15 is a
Determined
good
by-
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
would
care.
I would
You
suggest
just
that
torn it. haven't you?
for a figure like the Missing Link, because it's Takara, because it's niche, because it's sought
Oh yeah, I
after,
wouldn't shut that.
definitely not worth. I mean, I did go through a period where I was moving house in 2017, and I just had to make a decision. Like, too many boxes, couldn't bring them all with me. Don't get me wrong, I'm a total hoarder, right? I keep everything, but at this point, if you didn't know, at this point, I had to make a decision, and I went through the collection and I tossed so many deluxe cards and the polystyrene kind of covers and plastic inserts that we got from like the Unicron trilogy toys and all that kind of stuff. And that I think probably didn't cost me as much as, you know, obviously if you're throwing out G1 stuff, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. If you're throwing out stuff which is brand new, I'm going to pick on a figure. Say, for example, up on my shelf, I've got Legacy Bombshell, right? Now this is a recent figure. It's a Hasbro figure, £25 price point. Originally, they started to get really hard to get and really started to go up in value on eBay. And then all of a sudden there was a second run of it, came out of nowhere. And now Smiths have got him knocked down to 15 quid. Still quite hard to get, but with and without the box, a general kind of mass release figure like that, it's not going to give a huge percentage discount on having the box or not, because there just are so many of them. They're so abundantly available, and the timing is there at the moment that it's just, you don't really care. But 10 or 15, 5 or 10 years down the line, that's where you're really going to start to see the repayment on keeping those boxes. Yeah. So for me, I keep all my boxes up in the loft if I can, and keep them in boxes if that makes sense, to protect them from
I'll do that.
Yeah. That's really the key. But obviously, if you can't because of space or whatever concerns, then at the end of the day, if you're getting them out, that's the kind of key thing, right? Don't do a Rohan and don't have all your stuff still in boxes because you haven't got the time to get them out.
I keep all my fans' toys boxes. Well, most things actually. I mean, things like those deformation space seekers, I chuck the boxes for them. I couldn't care.
Yeah.
But I keep all the high end stuff. But yeah, it's just interesting because I went through them yesterday to try and Jenga them and get more into the boxes that are in boxes, and you just look at it all and go, what am I doing?
It's an art in and of itself. So to answer your question, I've got a bit of a rule now. I keep most boxes, but if I'm absolutely not going to sell it again, if it's ones that no matter what I will keep, then I throw out the boxes. So the Geiger Power Dinobots, I've got all the big Dinobots throughout those boxes because I'm never parting with those. Beast Wars Dinobot, Takara, not parting with that forever throughout that box. But the other thing to the rule is I've got some KO. I've just put one away actually, but I've got some KO figures, the Masterpiece Carbot. So I've got tracks, smokescreen. I don't care. They're there to fill a gap. They cost me 20 quid. I'm not looking for anything fabulous. They're completing lineups. If I sold that, the box ain't going to add a huge amount. It might add 3 quid, 4 quid. It's not much. So I'll throw those out. But that's bit me on the backside a little bit because I have got and I am selling this KO of MP52 Seeker Skywarp. And I want to sell it. And I don't have the box. And that's actually knocked it down a fair bit because surprisingly, he's a little expensive when looking on eBay.
You're in a KO.
And
sometimes the scarcity, isn't it? Just how
even the KO is quite pricey. I've seen people wanting 130 for it all boxed, which is a lot for a KO. But I've got all the accessories. And I was like, great, must have the box somewhere. Can I find it? Can I help?
No.
But the things like Inquisitor or big Masterpiece stuff, you start coming away from boxes, you will notice a price drop. I think Rohan's hit it on the head, but it becomes hard work then playing box Jenga. God knows I've got them in above my bed in storage, and I've stored boxes within boxes, just to rush and dole them wherever I can. But what about you, Bisto? What do you do with Toy World and things like that?
When I first started getting stuff, there's a large part of the loft that's made up of Transformer boxes, and I just got to a point where I'm like, I can't be asked. I know I've looked. I hardly ever sell anything, so I'm like, I'm not. I don't. Even if I sell it, I don't care if I lose money. I'm just selling it to make space, not to, line my pocket. True. And so I just recycle. That's
a good way to do. Yeah.
Better for
I
environment.
mean, that's as much of my thinking at the moment now is I don't always sell a transformer to make up money. I sell it to make up space because just the other week I had for a very long time in my collection I had the Combiner Wars Defensor with the third-party upgrade kit. I had that for quite a while now. Really enjoyed it. Really liked it. This wasn't the oversized one that's come out not that long ago. This was back in Combiner Wars days. But as I'm on the MMC trail for my Defensor, I thought I don't need two of them. And I just sold it. And I got a good price for it. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. But I more just sold it because it's taking up space on the shelf that's soon going to be replaced by another Defensor. So there you are. That's my... To a point, it's money back in. It's reinvesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is it. Yeah. So, like, you know, many of you guys have mentioned, for me, after many years of collecting, you go through the periods where, you know, you'll collect a line and you'll get all the bots, and then after a few years, they'll be superseded by better figures, or they'll be superseded by something which takes the space, as you said, in your collection. And then it's a case of, well, what do you do with it? And I've done this so many times now throughout my collecting career, if you like, where I just go, yeah, I've got to cull all of this line and just get rid, and then I'm gonna have to do it again soon because that's just how it is. But that, to your point, you know, sometimes you have the boxes, sometimes you don't. If you don't, then it saves you a shed load of space, which is great. If you do, then adds a couple of quid back into the collection for the next year. That's how I look at it.
If you're gonna keep a figure, because I picked up some that, and it can make a difference. Like, I don't care, it hasn't got the box, so I've saved a few quid when I bought it. You've got to think about it like it's another collection, isn't it? This is where they're displayed, this is how they're stored, but you're storing boxes, just not in the public eye, but you're still storing it, aren't you? Unless you're one of these people that displays them in the box, such as Rohan, such as others, you know.
If they're a nice special box that's got a display to it, I think I pointed out last time my Jurassic Park box, because it's a scene. That box in itself is a piece, so I can put that on my shelf, and I'm quite happy to keep that. But when the box is just completely covered over, you want to get it out. Just the same with my Hoover. Like it's in there. You can't display it properly, so I kind of have to take it out and use it.
You could take that box of the Hoover and flatten it and put it on the wall.
Yeah, I might do that.
Well, here's an idea.
It'll be up there next time.
Yeah, like a Hoover poster. That'd be cool.
You're going to bring it to TFM with you?
Signed. Yeah, could do.
Please do not let the takeaway of this stream be, wasn't that a good talk about the Shark Hoover? I do not want this stream to be remembered.
I could make it like a whole fusion cannon type thing and have to carry it around on my arm.
The shark motion.
Or I could go like
shoulder cannon.
That's right.
You look like Braun now. Yeah.
Other Hoovers are available, though, of course.
Yeah, we are not sponsored by Shark.
All reasonably priced
with content. Can't imagine Shark are even looking for investment opportunities, and if they're looking here, their business model's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, I mean, look, they already stole the name from Mask, so I'm already pissed.
I still want the Dyson one that looks like Galvatron, but you know.
And thus began the vacuum wars,
and then the inevitable repaint into Megatron.
Hoover repaints. You can get combiner vacuum cleaners then.
All right. We're going deep down this rabbit hole.
Can we talk about KO?
The purpose. We'll very quickly very quickly. Let's finish off talking about chaos because Sam,
I did get a KO part for my Dyson that didn't work very well. So
shut up, you Alexis. Shut up. Now, and no, we're not talking about Sharknado Skywarp. Shut up. Right, Sam, you want to talk around KOs? It's a bit of maybe a long topic for the time we got left, but let's quickly talk about it. KO, yes or no? What do you reckon?
No.
All right, good. Next topic.
No, I think no. I just no. I think it. I don't know how to describe it.
Hang on, can I just clarify? When we're talking about KOs, we're not talking about third party. Are we talking about a direct copy of?
You're talking straight rip, aren't you?
Yeah.
What oversized KO? Is that acceptable?
Or undersized?
Yeah, technically, I mean, because I could then be contradicting myself because I have a one of those big oversized Pangu toys.
Scandalous.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think a direct copy of a figure, so that's Skywalk, for
That's
example.
fair.
I go, to me, it's diluting your collection, in my opinion. So if you had a full MP collection, as full as it's available, but you only then had a KO one, you haven't got a full collection, have you? I don't know if there's a very way to describe
It's not pure, if you like.
Not the same,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not very pure myself, so I don't really mind.
Yeah. But I personally don't like them. Don't dislike's a little bit of a strong word. I'm not that bothered, but I would say no. I think if you've got
It's
a collection,
not for you.
no.
If I didn't have my kids and had a bit more disposable income, then yeah, I'd probably be like as pure as I could be. But I have to make sacrifices for these little things.
I think that's where I am, as I've said briefly to you, Sam, on it, is that I've got the odd KO. Like I say, I'm not going to pay 80 quid for Masterpiece tracks. I don't care enough about tracks. He's just not high on my agenda. I'll pay it for Prime. I'll pay it for Magnus. I'll pay it for Grimlock. But tracks? No. What's that? 20 quid? Yeah, all right. Because then if it breaks, I never cared that much about him anyway.
And I do get that.
That's how I've ended up with them as well.
Not just that, but also what if it's a really, really hard to get figure that just ridiculously increases in price and you have to pay late tax
That's happened
on
to me
it?
as well.
Then that can be a real bugbear for me. Like, then a KO kind of fills that void because you're not paying £150, you're paying 30 quid or whatever. I don't know.
But you haven't got that figure.
You've got an incarnation of it. It's not the same. I know what you're saying. Yeah,
and
it's a representation.
I'm not going to be great. It's just my opinion. It's right, wrong, or indifferent. I look at that and go, if there was a hard to find figure that I really wanted, and it was available but a bit more money, I think it's just more reward to get it rather than go, oh, there's a KO over there, but it's not really the figure. It's a copy of it. But that's just my opinion. I think it's a good debate. None of it's right or wrong. That's what I like about this. Opinions, isn't it? Yeah.
What about a KO that is a recolor of what? So they didn't say one of the Seekers. They get the Seeker. They issue a colored variant that we haven't been able to get because they didn't make it, but he exists in the canon. But it's the exact same.
All right. So to give you an example, so rather than say Skywarp here, and they decided to do Acid Storm, that Takara have not done themselves. Is that what you're sort of driving?
Yeah. There we go.
So
Thank you for translating.
See,
that's going away from what you're saying, isn't it, Sam? Because that you're talking about just pure rip, aren't you? You're talking
technically it's not a KO then. Yeah.
I mean, all right. If
that's a redeco. If
they've nicked the mold, it's technically they've nicked the mold to do it. But I mean, it's grey, isn't it? I guess. Yeah, I get that would probably be.
If Hasbro only did what we asked.
Yeah,
I'm very much. I've got quite a few KOs in the collection, but it's been down to the likes of Tracks and Smokescreen. I don't care enough about them to spend a level of money. It's also been down to availability. If I've missed it, and very quickly I got the Takara Beast Wars Megatron. The Masterpiece version that they wanted 240 quid for it, which I thought was a lot of money, and it had stress marks and it broke. And I just thought, I'm not spending that kind of money for something to break. Then one came out for 90 quid as a knockoff, and it transforms for shit. It's awful, but if it stands still, it looks fine. But so there's a couple of scenarios where I'm more flexible. But as I say, I'll pay. I won't care about Tracks, Smokescreen. But I'll care a bit more about Preceptor, Blur. I've got Fans Toys Cup, really like it. Some other ones are just I'm a bit more picky on, but lesser characters, collect space fillers, not so much. What about you, Bisto? What's your view?
I think I used to be very fundamentally against it. Then there was some replica turtle figures that were in the original image thing that I thought they would never come out again. So I bought the knockoffs of them. I'm like, all right, okay. So kind of crack my knockoff cherry now, as it were. Like and things like
crack your cherry, but
like the G1 Dinobots boxed knockoffs. It's like
The swoop.
Yeah, I wanted Swoop, but I might as well just get all of them. So I got all of those, and just the nostalgia feels of just having those, and being able to buy them at a price where you are free to unbox them and play with them, and and go, oh wow, this reminds me so much of being a kid, and rather than going, all right, I bought a taped and a box sealed G1 Dinobot for X amount of money, and going, but I don't ever open it. Because but I think if you can buy a knockoff and kind of just enjoy that kind that nostalgia feeling with it. But I think in the terms of like how you're saying about, I didn't really care enough of tracks to buy them at 70s, but for a knockoff, I'm like, I just didn't buy tracks.
Yeah,
same with I'm a big Beast Wars fan, but I just didn't buy that Megatron. And I've not felt compelled to buy a knockoff of that Megatron. It's just, I'm just kind of, but when they do like Black Mamba, oversized, die-cast Tarn, is a different. That's a different kettle of fish. Even though it's still in that grey area of knockoffs. So it's kind of, I think you have your own lines, your own cross, and just be flexible to cross them occasionally when the mood takes you.
There's different scenarios and they're very personal. I think, like for me, one of the ones I recently got was the New Age Omega Supreme KO, because I've got the Pangu Toys Omega Supreme, and before that I had the McDonald's Toys Omega Supreme. Now I could have stuck with the original one. I didn't like the original one. It was okay. It plugged the gap until someone make a better mold. The Pangu Toys one I really liked, the robot mode, but the alt mode was a bit lacking for me. New Age one I really wanted, but I wasn't going to pay 150 quid for it, so I bought the KO of it when it came out for 55 quid, and I'm like, you know what, that's fine, I don't mind, because now I've got two figures representing one character, if that makes sense, and I can have one in each mode, and I can live with the price of that, whereas I just couldn't bear with myself to pay 3 times the price.
I think as we say, you make your own lines with it, you make your own piece as to what you're prepared to have and not have in your collection. And I think this is a long topic that I knew would probably be a bit much to talk about at the end of the show. I rather wish we talked about it at the start, but it's one that we can carry over, and I'm sure we will carry over at TF Nation, where I'm very glad to say I will see most, if not all, of you there. Yeah. Oh yeah, well, I mean, Rohan will, for being a GoBot fan, so you're in good company.
We've got time to sharpen our knives, haven't we?
Yeah. Interestingly, just quickly, the reason I got back into collecting was because I bought, by mistake, a KO boxed Prime, not knowing what it was.
Judas.
So I saw it on eBay. I hadn't looked at toys for 10 years, and I saw this boxed G1 Prime on eBay, thinking, bloody hell, that's good. Yeah. I'm having that, and I bought it.
Price,
yeah, and I didn't know anything about any of all that, and then I just read a thread of something, I don't know, and it said about KO, so I looked, and there was a guide to tell how you could tell if these were KOs or not. I'm like, they don't copy these, do they? Surely not. And then you see it.
Now you know.
I moaned at the guy in China because it broke as well. I moaned at him for selling me a knockoff, so he gave me my money back and sent me another one. So I had 2 of these things, but that led me into seeing about Masterpiece, third party, and then never looked back since.
I was the same with MP36. I bought it thinking that's brilliant, and then I realised it was a KO. So there you go. Right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. It's been very good having you on. And as we say, we'll hopefully see you all at TF Nation. But thank you very much for sticking with us for the live stream. There will be another one probably just after TF Nation. We'll do a little recap of everyone's experiences there. But thank you very much, gents. Thank you very much for watching. As always, I will see you on the next one.
Right.
And
Here's all.